Hey everybody, it's Mike. As many of you know, because I talk about it all the time, because it's one of my favorite things I get to do, I am a travel softball coach for an amazing group of young women. And this time of year is the fall showcase season. And for those of you who don't know, showcases are a little bit different than normal softball tournaments. They are heavily attended by college coaches and give players the opportunity to get seen and then hopefully get recruited by that group of college coaches. And we had our first practice leading into a showcase last night, and the girls were a mess. They were super nervous because of the impending showcase and their intense desire to be able to play softball at the next level. So after a few minutes, we sat down and we talked to the girls and said, we have got to return to fundamentals. We've got to go back to doing those things that we know how to do well. In fact, at the beginning of every practice, we engage in a series of exercises, which some people call fundies, referring to fundamentals. Some people call everydays because you do them every day. It's a series of glove work and throwing workouts to make sure that the girls have the basics down. And when I coach, one of the things I try and impress upon the young women is don't do it till you get it right. Do it until you can't get it wrong. Those are fundamentally different ideas. When you do it till you get it right, that means you get it right and you move on. When you do it until you can't get it wrong, it means it has become ingrained in you. And from a leadership standpoint, it often requires our returning to fundamentals. We need practice. We need to build up, just like in sports or in drama, the muscle memory. It demands constant attention and relentless attention to ensure that when we're doing it, we're not just doing it to get it right, we're doing it until we can't get it wrong. So what I'd love to talk about today are 5 leadership fundamentals that are essential for each and every one of us. And the first one I want to talk about is our ability and our willingness to listen. Everyone thinks they're a good listener, and the reality is most people are not. Most people engage in what I refer to as competitive listening. This is where you start formulating your response to what the person's saying to you before the person's done speaking, which means you've stopped listening, or at least stopped listening to the extent that you should be. Or worse, you interrupt. Effective leaders engage in non-competitive, empathetic, compassionate, intellectual listening. They are not competitive. They are not interrupting, because we understand that when an employee comes to talk to us, this is a difficult conversation for that employee to have. And if we interrupt, or worse, argue or take on the position that they're presenting, we don't enable them to unburden themselves. We don't enable them potentially to reach catharsis. And it is with this catharsis that employees are able most effectively to move forward. Leadership essential number 1, non-competitive, empathetic, intellectual, compassionate listening. Fundamental number 2 is our willingness to lead with empathy. We live in times that are complicated. We live in times that are confusing. We live in times that in moments are just plain scary. The more as leaders we can humanize ourselves by sharing interests, by sharing experiences, by engaging in uncompromising and unfettered empathy, the better leaders we really will be. The best leaders understand that treating everybody fairly does not mean treating everybody the same. And the only way we can get the best out of our people is if we really know them. And in your humanization of yourself and in your sharing interests and sharing experiences, we will have a much better opportunity to get to know our employees, to appreciate and to understand better what motivates them, which will enable us in turn to lead better. Number 3, ongoing communication. Communication as a leader is 24/7, 365. Effective communication doesn't happen once during the course of a performance appraisal in the year. It doesn't happen quarterly when you have quarterly conversations with your employees. Communication has to be an ongoing effort. And something I like to engage in is what I call spontaneous planned check-ins. Now, if you're paying attention, you realize that those two words kind of mean the opposite of each other, spontaneous and planned. They're planned for me as the leader, as somebody whose memory isn't always so great. In my Outlook calendar are these impromptu check-ins that I'm going to have with people who report to me or who help me on an ongoing basis. The employees may not know that they're coming, but your willingness to take a few minutes every week to engage in these spontaneous planned check-ins, to sit down with your employee, what's working, what's not working. Really appreciated all the things you've been doing lately. Your hard work has not gone unnoticed. One of my favorite leadership phrases, how can I be of service to you? So we're doing a better job of listening. We're leading with empathy. We are engaging in relentless communications. We are going to make sure that we are always advocating on behalf of those over whom or for whom we have responsibility. Give credit to somebody for a job well done and do it publicly. Even if it's not in a public forum, do it to the people who need to know. Let those people above you who are in decision-making positions that it wasn't you who created this concept or this idea or this rubric. It was, in fact, somebody who reports to you. Engage in meaningful sponsorship. And sponsorship's a little bit different than mentoring. Sponsorship is when you use your own capital that you have developed inside of your organization on behalf of someone else. You are in a meaningful and in a true way advocating for someone else's benefits using the juice, using the power that you have developed over a period of years inside of your organization. And finally, number 5, ask for help when you need it. Leadership is incredibly complex. It is never the same day in and day out. So we want to make sure when we confront those complicated situations, those difficult situations, those situations which we haven't experienced in the past, that we either go to our leader or, in many cases, we have a conversation with people like human resources professionals. Get the help you need. Don't spin your wheels. Just like you would suggest it to someone else, take your own advice. In those situations where you're not entirely sure how to handle it, go seek the assistance that you need. Number 1, listening. Non-competitively, empathetically, compassionately, intellectually, not interrupting, allowing your employees to enjoy catharsis and to move forward. Second, leading with empathy by humanizing ourselves, by sharing interests, by sharing experiences, by having those spontaneous, planned check-ins, ongoing communication with our employees. It is not once a year, it is not once a quarter, it is 24/7, 365. Advocate on behalf of those who report to us. Use your power, your juice, as a way to sponsor someone else, to give them credit for a job well done. And finally, when we as leaders don't have the answers ourselves, let's go someplace else where we can get help. Leadership is like anything else. It's a muscle. And the more we can practice these fundamentals, much like my girls, the more you will be in a position not just to get it right, but be in a position not being able to get it wrong. Thanks so much, folks. As always, I appreciate your watching. I appreciate your commenting and appreciate your continuing to share. Hope to see you real soon.